Carla. Can't hear you.
Hello.
Yes, we're good to go.
Is Renu coming?
Excuse me?
Is Renu coming?
I don't.
Ah, here she is.
Hello.
Hello, Renu.
Hi. Hi. Welcome to. Just a minute. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Let's start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly live. On Wednesdays, we are live every Wednesday, 7:30. So today we have got with us a special guest, which is Ruqya, and as always, Carla is here to help us manage the session. So thank you, Carla, and we welcome Ruqya. So Ruqya is the founder of SMILETASTIC. She is an internationally honored change maker, a master NLP, timeline therapist, hypnosis, professional certified coach by ICF, and journalist, and has been an editor of parenting magazines. So we welcome you, Ruqya. Warm welcome.
Thank you very much, Carla and Renu, for having me on your show. I am super excited.
We are really thank you from Race, and thank you for coming over here. So when I was going through your biodata and all the things what you are doing at this moment, which I could not even read. So we would like to know that how your journey has been. What is, I mean, how you started and you reached to this point at this moment where you are doing, you are really achieving so many things and wearing so many hats at the same time.
Thank you. So how it started was quite naturally at a point of life where you realized you wanted to do more in life. You know, I was a young mother of two and doing a lot of dishes and diapers, and I thought there must be more to life. And I was a skilled writer, and I thought, how can I put my skill set, whatever existing, into use so that I can contribute. And my children was that awareness that my children were watching was definitely the fuel to take that first step forward. And this was in 2000. So I began my journey as a freelance writer in the year 2000, and from there on began the affair with words and the conversations, whether it was with high achievers, and came the awareness on NLP and public speaking and TEDx, and now coaching as such as well.
That's amazing. And as we start raising our own children and doing our own things which we really want to achieve on the way, we many times we need to change our path, and sometimes you have to put some things in front of you, and some things uh, you just keep at the back seat, but at the right time you come back again to that. So when did you come across coaching, and how did you come across coaching?
So, to be honest with you, I saw the ICF credentialing system as a doorway, a way to me for me to open the doors to corporate training. Because even prior to ICF accreditation and acquiring my PCC, I was doing trainings, but using the Master Practioner NLP hat. And obviously the background of public speaking, being a TEDx speaker, so that's what I was using as a tool set. However, I realized that being on having an ICF credentialing is something that is a place of a lot of credibility, and it puts you in the right frame of mind as well as with the right circle of people. And that's when I went on this journey of ICF and coaching, etc.
Okay. So, Carla, if somebody is joining in, can you see somebody over here?
No, not yet, but I'm sure they'll be here soon.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward because there are going to be some people who will be just coming in very soon. Meanwhile, it is interesting to find out a little bit more. As we were talking before coming over here in this, your connection with education, and as you mentioned that you would like to work towards parenting and bringing parent and student together and building up their relationships. So how did you thought, I mean, how you came across thinking about that the relationship is something which needed to be worked on?
Okay. So, Renu, you would agree with me that sometimes to take a step forward, we need to take a step back, right? So that's what I'm going to do with your question right now, because what you said earlier about, sometimes we have to leave some things behind on the back seat and then we have to move forward. And which is exactly what I have right now, like really metaphorically. I have that smile sitting behind me. And that smile was born, the acronym for SMILE was born in 2016 when I did my TEDx talk. And why do I take you one step back? Is because that became the foundation of a lot of training that I do as a mindset coach. So I take the smile and I mold it across different audiences. And my favorite audience is parent child audience, parent teacher, student teacher audience, because I feel children at a particular age kind of require mentors and role models and conversationalists. They're not looking for someone who is giving out there to give them advice, but someone who just is there to listen to them. And that was the outlet I opened up when I started visiting schools and universities for my workshops and trainings. And why am I asking you to take a step back from this is because the whole conversation around a smile is to move from feeling stuck to unstuck. And very often in a parent child relationship or even in a student teacher relationship, what happens is the child feels a little stuck. They don't want to discuss where they're stuck because they want to figure their way around themselves. And a lot of time there is a communication gap between the authority, who could be the parent or the child or the teacher or the educator. And that's where I come in as a bridge to help them understand themselves better. So when I run a workshop in any organization, whether it's a school or in a corporate space, I always speak to both sides of the party. I invite the students to have a session with me, and then I also educate the parents because I feel it's important to elevate the conversation on both sides of the equation. So, yes.
So that's amazing. That's like the way you told. I completely agree that that role model is something which they are looking forward towards. Not the ideal person, but the person who has lived the life with having all the mistakes and all the like a genuine role model. So I completely agree. And when you said that including parents is really important whenever we are talking about children, students, and that's what race is all about. Carla, what do you think about that? Parents and child relationship, and what is your view?
Well, I think anyone like Ruqya who's going to help parents and children have good relationships is a godsend because it's really, really difficult. And sometimes it's so difficult that parents don't talk about it. And even now, although we have a lot of awareness and we have a lot of talk about mental health and all these things, there is still a lot of guilt and shame around parenting. And so I think people who want to help to bridge that gap are really, really valuable. And we have to celebrate that. We also have some comments. So the
Please go
first one we have, how is the SMILE strategy? How can the SMILE strategy bring more smiles into the classroom, Ruqya?
Okay, so the SMILE strategy is a simple five-step formula. As I said, it's an acronym that I coined, and how it can bring more smiles in the classroom is people are beginning to see more, and once you have the workshop, what happens is each of the students then become more aware of it, and then they start to work as accountability partners. And it's very cool how this works, because I do a workshop, and then what happens is each of them know what the SMILE stands for. And then if they find a peer who is in a grumpy mood, then they remind them. So S, silence your mind. What exactly is running in your mind? M, manage your attention. What's your attention going on? And I get this feedback from teachers. I mean, who tell me that suddenly there is more awareness in the classroom. There is a lot of forgiveness, because L stands for forgiveness, I stands for intention, and E is energize the possibilities. So each of them then suddenly begin to partner up. There is a lot of competition in terms of who is going to be more attentive on this. And yes, so that's how there's more to a smile that students begin to see, and that's how it kind of is a ripple effect in the classroom itself.
That is a really good strategy. Amazing. I really like it. Carla, do we have another question?
We do. We have, what is your vision for the future of education, Ruqya?
Ooh, a big one.
Mm.
Thank you for that question. It's a very powerful question. My vision for education is to keep it simple. Honestly, to keep things as simple as possible, to keep communication open, and to see how we as educators can somehow connect with our students at their level. Sometimes I feel students feel unheard, because teachers come from a place of authority. And no offense, you are authority. And just earlier today, I was speaking on my live about the universe being a thorough teacher. As an educationalist, I think it's more important to be thorough than to be perfect, to make sure the lessons are conveyed as best as possible. And I think the biggest lesson we can give our students and our children is on life skills, that and that listening is a value that they can take forward in any conversation, whether it's conversation with others or themselves. If a child feels unheard, then obviously that's the behavior that they could possibly model moving forward.
Amazing. That's a really needed thing at this moment. That connecting with your students, that is really important. And with Corona and COVID coming in, it is really really because nothing is for sure. Everything is in just in their clouds. Like nobody knows that what exactly is going to happen in some places. And we are lucky over here that in Dubai, still some of the schools have opened up. In certain places, schools are still going on in schooling mode. So, Rukaya, we would also like, when I was thinking about what to ask from you, I was thinking that I would love to ask that how coaching has helped you as a person and supported you and helped you come across all your whatever life takes you towards and bring you to this level, motivated you, or what way coaching has helped you.
Coaching has helped me understand myself better. Um, Prior to beginning my journey, and I began my ICF journey March 2020, and I finished my 500 hours of coaching in less than 8 months, which is breakneck speed. If I mean, obviously there would be coaches watching, and obviously you also know, to finish 500 hours in less than 8 months is like too much of focus. But that for me felt doable because I was so driven. It began this fuel. I would start my sessions at 6 a.m. Like I would be at my desk with my clients at 6 a.m. And why? Because it absolutely created this awareness for myself about myself. It was getting to know myself with each coaching conversation, because I feel as a coach, your clients come to teach you a lot, and there's so much that you can learn about yourself from your clients. So coaching for me has definitely helped me get to know myself, because apart from coaching clients, I did a lot of self coaching as well. So it was very, very helpful. It gave me I came to a point of self doubt, within the journey. And taking a step back and self coaching helped me build trust in myself as a coach, and also in the process of and the conversations itself. So it's definitely empowered me as a person.
Thank you for sharing, Carla. What do you think? Do you think that uh all the credit certification, accreditation, all these things, they do help as a coach when you are into coaching, when you go for hiring a coach, or when you are, do you think all these things matter?
Yes and no. They do matter if they matter to you. And what I mean by that is there are standards. When you go for coaching certification and all those things, any certification in any field, there are standards attached to that. And I think that if it matters to you to uphold those standards, then that's more important than the actual certificate itself. But I love what Ruqya said there about the self-coaching and the journey that you go on. I think that's very important. If you are coaching someone something, but you yourself don't have that skill, it starts to become empty, and then it becomes like work. It becomes a chore, and it becomes something inauthentic. And so I think that that connection with yourself, really living, I once heard a coach say, I don't do coaching, I live it. And I love that. And it stuck with me because it is one of those things that it's very difficult to just learn it and do it. And I think teaching is very similar as well. I think you can be trained to be a teacher, but the best teachers are those who live the life of a teacher, day in, day out, and they're never out of character. Otherwise, it gets tiring. And then you have those days where you get out of character by accident in the classroom, which can be a disaster. And I guess coaching is the same. It's better to live the life than it is to just be qualified.
Absolutely. Like to add
Thank
to
you for
that.
sharing that. And I completely believe that first you have to be what you are going ahead and going to do it for others. So if you are not yourself self coached, or you have not got into it, then you, whatever certification you get, but it is very important to experience it first yourself. Yes, thank you. Any more questions coming in?
Yeah, we have got someone said, I don't do coaching, I live it. What more is there to be said about self-coaching?
Okay.
What more is there to be said about coaching? So when I love what you said, Carla, actually about living coaching, because it's about the level of competencies, right? So you have the incompetent competencies where you know that okay, I don't know what I don't know, and then there is something that you realize that okay, I don't know this, but I could find out more, and then you come to a point where you know it, and then you're like unsure about it, and then you come to that level of I know this lives in my blood. So if you ask me about NLP, and people have said, can you explain it to me? I really can't because I live it. If you ask me about coaching, I can't because I live it. It's just about kind of letting it become a part of you. It's not about how can I give you a metaphor for this? So it's not about suiting up as a coach, but then making it your skin. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Rukaya. So, Rukaya, a bit more on how, what do you think about your connection with race? Uh, you must have gone through the website and everything, and what we do as a platform, and so what do you think about race?
So I love the conversations that you guys have started. And again, the race, when you say race, it is definitely something that is fueled with a passion, something that you're working towards. And it is definitely the need of the hour. The community definitely needs to see coaching from different perspectives, because I think there's still a gap in terms of awareness. People, yes, people know about coaching, but a lot of times people are looking at aren't able to identify the difference between being a coach and being a mentor and being a consultant. They look to us for answers, and we come into the picture to let them know that yes, the answers are within you. So that's, I think, a great conversation that you are creating around coaching and awareness on the education front. So kudos to you guys.
That's great. That's great. Rukaya, just to mention that there is some echo coming with your voice, like uh, your voice is come at the this thing volume.
Yes, it is happening to me, and I'm trying to ignore that. I don't know where it's coming from, though.
Yeah, because it's creating the dual effect, I think, in the studio. Like, yeah. Uh, so meanwhile, is there any question, Carla? Somebody asked.
No, we don't have any
Mm,
questions at the moment.
okay. So to go forward from here, I think the another thing which I noticed while going through your LinkedIn, and you have been sharing live and connecting dots. What that is? What is it? And it's been, I think, more than a year or a year that you have been continuously uh, religiously and in a very disciplined way you are coming and you are giving the number. So it's such an interesting thing. We would like to know a little more about on that.
Thank you. So, connecting the thoughts has been a daily conversation that I run on my platforms, which is my YouTube channel by my own name, Ruqya Khan. And I've been running it for 3 years now, plus. So, it's 3 years plus that I've been running the show, and I show up and I present on a quote of my own, a one liner that I select earlier in the day, and then I speak about it. And these are conversations, simple conversations around the little things that make life big. So anything to do with relationships, anything to do with setting boundaries, anything to do with mindset, communication skills. These are the little things that I bring to the table, and it has been very, very helpful. I have repeat audiences, and I also run a weekly show on again the same platform, and I invite people who are from my circle of genius to share their thoughts on, again, a topic that they decide on. And this started on May 1st, 2018,
Wow.
and I've been doing it daily since then. It started out as a means for me to help myself, because I was at a point of my life which was really dark and depressed. I had lost my dad, and my children had at the time left the nest, and I felt incomplete without them. So I was just under the covers, hiding away. But there was a simple question that my son asked me. And he said, "Ma, what about accountability? I know you don't feel like doing anything, but what about accountability?" And that's when I realized that I've given him good values and I should stand by them, because they are, after all, my own. And he's questioning me because I've kept that door open for conversation, even uncomfortable conversations. And so when I got back, I was in Australia at the time. When I got back home, and I began to notice that I'm once again getting in that spiral of, staying in late in bed and etc. I said, no, what is one thing that I can do to literally get myself out of bed, wash my face, and face the world? And that's where the daily video started, connecting the thoughts. And today was day 1129 of that commitment, uh, no matter where in the world I am. So, yes, thank you.
That's really, really inspiring and amazing. And I really like something to come out with your own story and come out with your own thoughts and come out with your and getting strength out of it, getting motivated out of it, and giving something back to the world. I mean, this is amazing. And I've been following you for some time, and I really wanted to ask this question for a very long time. But then I thought this is the best platform to do so.
Thank you.
And what do you think about it, Carla? Connecting dots and every day being responsible and
That's
Connecting.
awesome. That's awesome. I would have been truly embarrassed if my son said, "What about accountability?"
I was.
That's
I was.
incredible. That is the child of a coach, isn't it?
Yes.
We have to live it, don't we? Because they hear us saying so much, and then we have to not be hypocrites, because now they're going to hold us accountable to our own standards. Definitely.
But you know what? In that instance, when he asked me that question, I did push him back by using my authority card, saying, "I'm your mother. You can't speak to me like that." And he said, All that is fine. What about accountability?"
Yeah.
I was like, he nailed it, and I had nothing else to say. There have been days. It's not easy to do 1,000+ days, and there have been days when I'm traveling, or pre-corona, obviously 3 years now. There have been days I've traveled. I've been away from my desk. There have been days when I'm unwell. There have been days when I'm not feeling like it. And there could be times when I switch on the video and I'm just something that I say about dad or my kids, and I get vulnerable and I cry, and that's okay, because what I felt is it's important to be authentic. It's important to deliver what you feel like in that moment. And isn't that what coaching is all about? If we worried about performance and pressured ourselves around that, then it would become difficult to be with your client, because you're in your head, you're not in the conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sometimes we underestimate our children, and sometimes a child can put you into that path that you have never expected, and it can bring in so beautiful change. And really, really, it can be liberating, and it can be. So we should not always take it for granted. As children, we talk to our children, and children say something. So that's it. Any more question, or Carla?
Yeah, we've got another question. It says, what did you learn? This is an extension, I guess, of what we were just saying. What did you learn from your conversations with your kids, ladies? So I guess, what else did we learn?
What else do we learn? So for me, I've learned to be as open as I can with my children. And I'm sure my children are going to kill me if they hear this, but I have a chair in the kitchen, which they call the confession chair, because once they sit on the chair and we get chatting, and I'm making dinner or I'm making lunch and I'm doing my own thing, and they start talking to me, and they forget that they're talking to me, and they out comes everything that they weren't supposed to tell mommy. But you know what? That's the whole beauty of our relationship. It's so open, and because I am open with them, they are able to be open with me, and vice versa. So there's always something to learn from each other. They are so forgiving, and my the name of
So
my
that's sorry.
has been
Yeah,
coined.
please.
The name of my company has been coined by my daughter. So I've got two kids, and both of them, I call one of them is my cheerleader, and the other one is my reality check. So he's my mirror. So yeah.
That's so beautiful to have that sort of relationship. Is a dream with your children. That's amazing. And it's so good to talk to you. So many things it brings, like sometimes, as you say, dinner time talk, you're just being there with your children and them eating, the conversation starts and it goes ahead. So that's really, really something which came forward towards our session, that you have to give them a complete authority sometime and take them as equals after certain years have passed from your life, when you have treated them as a child. But then you can't treat them as a child all your life. You have to bring them to that level where they're your a friend, or they are your equals. So that helps a lot with the open relationships. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Rukaya. I think that's all we have got time. Carla, what is your last uh, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I want to add to what Ruqya said about what you learn from your kids. I think one thing I learned was self-acceptance. And I've learned that from just watching them be really authentic, and then sometimes realizing they were like a mirror. And when I saw them being authentic, being their real self, saying how they feel, and then I would see that I wasn't doing that, they get to an age where they'd start to notice that, and they call you out and they say, but you were sad and you didn't say you were sad. And then I'd felt really bad about that. So I really learned self-acceptance from my conversations with my kids, especially when they got to around 10, 11, and they started to notice that I had different faces for different situations. My daughters were really good at that. They're grown up now, but when they were like 10 years old, they would just say, you weren't being honest, or you were being fake. That was the word they'd use, which is really horrible. You know? But also when they get to an age where they start to verbalize their love for you, despite your faults, that also reinforces your own level of self-acceptance. And that will stick with me for many years.
That's amazing, Carla, and thank you so much for sharing that. I really want to end on this note that thank you so much, Rikaya, for being here and sharing your thoughts and about your whatever good work you are doing all around. And what are your thoughts on parenting and students? How you can connect them, and race being a platform where we are trying to connect all three key stakeholders of education, teachers and students and parents and coaches, of course. So it's a great, like being a coach, a parent. You have given us some good insights. And thank you, Carla, for always being there and helping us to manage, because that's really it required, because me being not a regular person, so you are really asset. Thank you so much. And thank you, Rukaya.
Thank you
It's a
so much.
pleasure having you over here. So, see you next time on this Wednesday Live with some other guests. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.